Anger should be expressed. Any anger that isn't coming out, flowing freely, will turn into sadism, power drive, stammering, and other forms of torturing. This statement was made by legendary martial artist Bruce Lee. Now, this statement sounds like the direct opposite of what some of us were taught while growing up. We're taught never to get angry in the first place, not to talk of expressing it or repressing it. We're taught that angry people will go to hell. Now, over time, I've come to discover that this isn't exactly the truth. Scripture says, be angry, but do not sin. I like the way another version puts it. It says, go ahead and be angry. You do well to be angry, but do not use your anger as fuel for revenge. And most importantly, don't stay angry. Do not go to bed angry. Do not give the devil that kind of foothold in your life. I mean, does it get any clearer than that? This simply means it's okay to be angry, but don't hurt or harm anyone. Now, like every other thing that God created, the issue most of the time isn't the thing. The issue is the purpose of the thing. The issue with anger isn't necessarily anger in itself, it's the purpose of anger. Because here's the thing, where purpose is not known, abuse is usually the result. And what's abuse? It's just the abnormal use of a thing. So what's at stake here is the correct use of anger. It's about control. I love this Pirelli ad from way back. It says that power without control is nothing. Some months after that, another version of the ad was released, and this time it said, power is everything, but control is everything else. I love that ad so much. Anytime I think about it, it just gives me goosebumps, because it tells us that while power is this great and wonderful thing, there is something that is greater than power, and that's control. Control is actually greater than the power itself. And what's another word for control? It's purpose, it's the reason, the right, the correct use of that thing, the correct use of power. In the same light, anger is this powerful emotion. Understanding the purpose of it can birth positive, wonderful changes in our lives. Using anger for hurt, hate, or harm isn't going to make us any better or move us closer to becoming the best version of ourselves. Rather than using anger for that, let's use anger to bring hope, help, and healing to ourselves and to other people around us. And that's what it's about. That realizing that anger is simply energy, and like all forms of energy that can be transformed, we can transform anger into hope, help, and healing. Now, this can only happen if we start from the very beginning, and that's to allow ourselves to feel the anger. That's where it starts from. Not trying to suppress it, edit it, or remix it with sentiments, but to just allow ourselves be and really feel that anger. Now, this can be really challenging for those of us who love to be Mr. and Miss Goody Two Shoes, who have been taught all our lives to never ever get angry. But that's the only way really we can channel anger into something positive, that we can transform it into something useful by allowing ourselves to feel the anger. This leads us to stage 2, and that's to ask ourselves the question, why? Why are we angry? What's making us upset? I love the way my mentor and pastor puts it. He says that integrity is not about being perfect. It's about being perfectly honest with yourself. Now, if we can't be honest with ourselves, then how can we be honest with other people? It's this self-honesty that makes us run away from that question, why? Because we're afraid of the answers that we'll find. We're afraid that if we probably dig deeper, or without even digging deep at all, that the answers we'll find are probably something that is flimsy, that we'll be wondering why someone our age and of this status should be dealing with something like that at this stage in life. But that's the only way transformation really can happen. That's the only way we can channel our anger positively, if we allow ourselves the answer to that question, why, and to understand what's making us upset, because that's the only way we can understand our values and what really matters to us. And here's the thing, our values are those things that are important to us, those things that we really care about. And it doesn't matter if it's not important to our friend or our family member. If it's important to us, then it's important. And this leads us to stage 3, and this is the stage where we actually transform the anger into hope, help, and healing. Let me put it this way. The reason you and I are probably feeling angry, upset, frustrated about that thing or that situation is because somewhere at the back of our minds there's something that tells us that there's a better option, that we deserve better, we deserve to be treated better, we deserve to be, do, have, and give better. If we didn't believe there was a better option, we wouldn't be angry or frustrated with that thing or with that situation. We would accept it as our lot, as our place in life, albeit with even joy and excitement. The reason we are angry and frustrated is because we truly believe there's a better option. Now that's hope, the first step in that transformation. That having that belief, that's hope that has already been ignited in our hearts, that cannot be suppressed, that cannot be put out. And once we have that hope, the next thing we need to ask ourselves is, then what are we going to do about it? If we truly believe that there is a better option, that we deserve better, then what are we going to do about it? Because here's the thing, just like hunger is proof of the existence of food, that anger that we feel is proof of the existence of a positive way out of that situation. It's proof that that way, that solution exists. So rather than staying fixated on the problems, let's look out for the solutions. Rather than react, let's respond. Rather than being passive spectators, let's be participating actors and tell ourselves that, look, as long as I feel this emotion, it's proof that I can do something about it. And not just something, I can do something positive about it. I like the way Mike Murdock puts it. He says that what you hate is a clue to something you have been assigned to correct. What angers you, what grieves you is a clue to something you can heal. And so that's what it's about, that we ask ourselves, what is that positive step? What's that positive action I can take right now to help myself or to help someone else? Now, asking myself that question, what's that positive action I can take, that positive step I can take to help myself and ultimately others, is what led me to running the 2020 Lagos City Marathon. As a writer and as a trainer, I was at that point in my life where I was just so angry and frustrated with my work. Here I was, every other person seemed to be getting ahead and making progress, and it just seemed like I was still on the same spot. What was so annoying was the fact that these guys were guys that I believed I was smarter than, or I was as smart as. Now, I was so angry that they were getting all the likes, all the shares, all the following on social media. But when it came to my work, an orchestra of crickets, to make matters seemingly worse, what now happened was the little leverage that I had, the little influence that I had was reduced to almost nothing when at some point the major social media sites now switch to the algorithm-based approach to stuff that gets posted on the site. I mean, I was super pissed and super angry, because what it meant was, here was this computer who was determining if my work gets shown or gets seen by someone based on their interaction with it. based on their likes or interests and a host of a number of factors. I tell you, I was super pissed and super angry with the situation. I was like, God, what's going on? It was in the midst of all this that, I just said to myself, I said, Kayode, come on, pull yourself together. Channel your anger into something positive. Do something positive with this anger that you are feeling. Stop feeling sorry for yourself. Stop wishing for the good old days. Those days are long gone. The issue is, what are you going to do now? What positive action are you going to take now? And that's when I had the idea to run the 2020 Lagos City Marathon. I remember one of the days while running on the road, preparing for the marathon, this anger was coursing through my entire body. And the angrier I felt, the harder I ran. I was running hard and fast with all that anger until I got to the midpoint of my run. And that was when this gentle voice just floated in my head and said, Kayode, you know what? God is too generous to let it be that the entire outcome, the outcome of your entire destiny will be determined by an app. That your God-given destiny, the outcome of it, will be determined by an app, albeit an app created by a human being like you, a human being with the same blood that flows through your veins, flowing through theirs. I mean, that was the shift I needed, the paradigm shift that I needed, that my destiny is in my hands, given to me by God, and that if it's going to be, then it's up to me. So what do? Keep pushing, keep running. If we are really going to live a life of no excuses, a life where we go on to exceed our limits, crush those goals, break barriers, smash records, and go on to be those high performers that God has created us to be, it's helpful to remember, like Tracy Morgan says, Bruce Lee fought with fury. That's why it's called the Fists of Fury. Michael Jackson danced with fury. I do stand-up comedy, he says, out of fury. I'm not mad with anyone. I'm not mad at anyone. I'm not mad at any human being, because I am a human being. So what do? Use that anger. You draw it. You dance with it. You match it. You vote it. You paint it. You sing it. You do everything about it and everything with it.